global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news.
Hello beautiful people, welcome back to our channel. As we speak, Wike have returned back to Abuja, his primary place of assignment, and of course the National Assembly, who were supposed to do the needful, have already passed the third reading in the amendment. Local government law have passed the third reading, and they are honestly getting geared up to ensure that the local government elections and the rest goes in totality in their favor. But while all of that is going on, PANDEF have decided to react. A lot of things are going on in quick succession in River State. I guess the power tussle is real, well, according to the news. But before going to the newspaper, kindly subscribe to our channel. And according to the press release, ladies and gentlemen, ordinarily this press conference would have been dedicated solely to expressing PANDEF appreciation to His Excellency President Bola Tinubu, GCFR, for graciously receiving their high-level South-South delegation at the State House of Abuja as at Tuesday, March 11, 2025. But however, we find it necessary to address a deeply concerning and regrettable development that has arisen in the aftermath of this visit, namely the media chat conducted by the Honorable Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, former Governor of Rivers State, Chief Wike, on Wednesday, March 12, 2025. Now, the purpose of the visit to Mr. President which was attended by eminent South-South leaders, including the region's most senior traditional rulers, former governors, senators, ministers, retired senior military officers, business leaders, and other distinguished citizens, was held at the invitation of Mr. President himself. The meeting provided a valuable platform to discuss pressing issues of national and regional importance, which included 1. The imperative of peace in River State and PANDEF's ongoing mediatory effort, 2. The need for presidential assent to the South-South Development Commission (SSDC) bill passed by the National Assembly to ensure the region's equitable development, 3. Urgent infrastructural development, particularly road networks and the optimal utilization and expansion of existing and new ports, 4. Resolution of socio-economic challenges affecting victims of Bakassi crisis, 5. Strategies to enhance oil production and promote greater inclusion of South-South indigenes in the governance of oil and gas sector, 6. The necessity of a systematic and environmental cleanup in oil-producing state, 7. The continued advocacy for true federalism and restructuring. And a PANDEF expectation from the engagement, of course, the people of South-South expect that these issues, which Mr. President acknowledged, with the assurance of follow-up action, will be diligently pursued, leading to tangible progress in the near future. Now, regarding the situation in River State, PANDEF fully embraced Mr. President's directive to the organization to sustain its ongoing mediatory and reconciliatory effort, an initiative he commended and recognizing the caliber of individuals involved. Now, since that meeting, PANDEF has intensified the engagement with key stakeholders, fostering dialogue to achieve an amicable resolution that guarantees lasting peace and harmony in River State. Now, but there's been so much disparaging comments by the Honorable Minister. It is therefore very shocking, both shocking and unfortunate, that barely 24 hours after this significant engagement with Mr. President, an engagement that rekindled hope of peace and stability, the Honorable Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Chief Wike, held a media chat in which he launched an unwarranted and deeply inappropriate attack on PANDEF and its leadership. In his remarks, the Honorable Minister characterized PANDEF as the worst organization ever and accused its members of visiting the presidential villa mainly to solicit financial favors. These statements are not only false, but also unbecoming of a public official of his stature. Even more concerning was his disparaging remarks directed at the Reverend South-South leaders, including the late Chief E.K. Clark, a national icon and former PANDEF leader, whose legacy was duly recognized by Mr. President during our visit, with a minute of silence observed in his honor. Equally unacceptable was the crude and disrespectful attack on another national treasure, His Majesty King Alfred Deity Steep, former military governor of Rivers State and current chairman of PANDEF Board of Trustees. Now, this is PANDEF stance. To set the record straight, PANDEF, the foremost socio-political body representing the South-South regions, composed of some of the Nigeria's most distinguished personalities. Delegation to Mr. President included chairpersons of at least 4 of the 6 South-South states, traditional councils, senior traditional rulers of major ethnic groups, former governors, past presidents, presiding officers of the Senate, prominent entrepreneurs, academics, and high-ranking retired military officers. It is therefore highly regrettable and totally unacceptable that a serving minister in the federal government would exhibit such brazen disrespect towards individuals of this standing. This attitude perhaps explains his continual refusal of the minister to engage with the Peace and Reconciliation Committee, which PANDEF constituted as far back as October 2024, despite repeated attempts to reach. The effort of the Peace and Reconciliation Committee, for the avoidance of doubt, the Peace and Reconciliation Committee, which remains committed to resolving the River State crisis, comprises distinguished statements including Obon Victor Atta, former governor of Akwa Ibom State, Colonel Pam Oga, former military governor of Kwara State, His Excellency Admiral Jonah John, former deputy governor of Bayelsa State, Chief Mrs. Stella Omo, Engineer Emmanuel Ibok Essien, Senator Roland Owe, and all 3 at different times former chief whips of the Senate. Right Honorable Stella Dogo, former leader in the House of Representatives. While the governor of Rivers State, Sasinole Fobara, has demonstrated willingness to engage with this committee, the Honorable Minister has consistently rebuffed all attempts to reach him openly and opening up at a dialogue, given his open hostility and dismissive attitude towards PANDEF. The organization can no longer subject its esteemed senior Nigerians on peace mission on such level of disregard and disrespect. Now, appeal to Mr. President. PANDEF hereby calls upon Mr. President, as the father of the nation, to prevail upon the Honorable Minister to retract his inflammatory statement and extend due respect to these eminent Nigerians and traditional rulers who were, after all, esteemed guests of the Commander-in-Chief. It is apt to remind that the minister does not own the Niger Delta and his errant conduct should not be condoned. Notwithstanding this regrettable development, PANDEF remains unwavering in its commitment to peace, stability, and equitable development in the Niger Delta. We will continue to engage with great vigor all relevant stakeholders in pursuit of lasting harmony in River State and the broader South-South region. Of course, in conclusion, we appreciate your time and attention. Thank you. Of course, this is also signed by Ambassador God knows Bola Igale. This is honestly unbecoming, if you ask me. And if you had listened to the media chat of Wike, you would agree with me that he said quite a lot of derogatory words against PANDEF. Really? My colleague is in the house. What's your take on what PANDEF is now saying?
Well, I think that one of the things that discredit Wike so much is the fact that he does not respect anyone who does not stand with him. And, no matter what, in the pursuit of peace, there should be some leftover here, some leftover here, and then you come together. Thinking that everyone should come and be under your stool is absolutely wrong. PANDEF is a constituted body of very renowned South-South leaders, men who have been in any place that you can think of. I think the only place you wouldn't see them there, it's maybe presidency, but to talk of governors, 2-time governors, so many of them there. Some had been military governors before this time and all of that. But, it's expected that if such people wade into a case, you should grant them audience just to show them that you have respect for them. Whatever we are doing currently, we have to come to terms with this reality that one day power would be over. If you are disdainfully treated by younger person, someone who is enjoying what you had enjoyed, you would not be pleased with it. Some of them have seen the best of times. Some of them have been in very extreme position. For you to disregard them clearly shows that, number one, you're not interested in the peace pursuit. Number two, you want them to run things according to your... anybody who stands up and said Wike is all correct in everything he says, that person has a serious question mark on his morality. Because whether we like it or not, some of the persons that he is denigrating today were strongly behind any level that he is today. Imagine if they had frustrated him when he was a local government chairman or something. Would he be where he is today? Of course, no. No matter what you do, try to show respect to persons, even when they have differing opinion from yours. At least just give them audience. Maybe you have your own reasons. Point out those reasons that you have before them, even if you're not going to align with whatever thing they're going to say, but grant them hearing. You can't tell what will happen in the nearest future, where you will still go back to, quest for the help of this. Though unfortunately, the corruption has ruled Nigeria, but, people like this should be tamed despite their money. Because if all our elders turn their back on money quest or money conquest, all of this nonsense we are seeing today would have been controlled. But however, just like they rightly pointed out that they are going to, keep pushing for peace, until they see one. Maybe that's exactly what they have to keep doing, being that at one point, all these, we are seeing will be put under check